Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are back with another round of abusing that grass looks greener in a 30 card deck. I want to get this card banned because it's super good, and I think that million cards is pretty lame. But we're going to be abusing Magic Girls with That Grass Looks Greener. Now, what Magic Girls are we using? Why are we using them? Etc., etc., right? Well, first of all, we're obviously going to be using the standard Magic Girl kind of core with Chocolate Magician Girl, Berry Magician Girl, Apple, Kiwi, and Lemon to complement them, and then obviously using Magicalized Fusion to grab up ourselves Quintet Magician, which if you have 5 different spellcasters, Magicalized Fusion, you can fuse a spellcaster type fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing monsters on the field and graveyard that it lists as material, right? So we use 5 different spellcasters to grab up Quintet Magician, which if we use 5 different spellcasters, or 5 spellcasters with different names, we can destroy all cards the opponent controls. Pretty freaking useful, right? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to play grass that grass looks greener. We're going to mill a whole bunch of cards, right? Then, hopefully, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards, all with different names that can be milled, that are spellcasters, simply for this guy, right? So that's why we have that. So, we're going to activate That Grass Looks Greener. We are going to activate Magicalized Fusion. We are going to send 5 different spellcasters with different names to the graveyard. We're actually going to banish them. Excuse me. We are going to banish them. Then we are going to summon ourselves the Quintet Magician, destroy every card on the field. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects, and it cannot be tributed. So, Lava Golem, not an issue, right? Treacherous Trap Hole, not an issue. A lot of these cards that a lot of people are playing that are there to destroy, something like Raigeki Break as well, not an issue, right? So, pretty good. Protected, 4,500. You destroy their entire field, and then you swing in, and boom, you're done. That's it. That's everything you do. You just grass that's greener, Magicalized Fusion, pop everything, Quintet Magician, summon Quintet Magician, pop everything, then swing in. Lethal, right? Now, some of the other things that we are running, obviously you can see that we are running Invoked. We have a few invoked cards within our deck because we do have Alistair the Invoker, right? He's really good with the Magic Girls combo because Magic Girls have water, earth, and fire pretty easily accessible through just summoning them, and it's pretty easy to get them into the graveyard as well. So, you can also run Invoked. We're running double Invocation because I have 2, and I only have the 1 Alistair the Invoker. I would highly suggest running more Alistairs if you have them. You only need 2 Invocations because, again, you can banish. There are other ways to banish Alistair as well as to activate this within the grave or to search it out, or, you know how it goes. So yeah, there you go. Pretty simple. And then I don't have a Purgatrio, but I would highly suggest running Purgatrio. And now, why am I only running 1 Mage Lanica? Obviously, I could make more, right? Because we also want Kiteroid. We wanted a Kiteroid within the deck. Honestly, if you have a Purgatrio, you could probably just take out Mage Lanica, put in another Kiteroid, and put in Purgatrio instead. Probably a better option. That's what I would go for, right? Then we have a few other spellcasters, namely Magician of Dark Illusion, simply to just kind of have another thing within the grave to allow us to activate something. Plus, we do have Cosmic Cyclone that can activate on the opponent's turn to allow us to special summon him onto the field. We also have Dark Magician, just for, you know, another spellcaster. Plus, it is something that can be summoned using Keeper of Dragon Magic. His second effect, right? When it's normal summoned, you can discard a card to add a polymerization card or a fusion card, which allows you to grab a magicalized fusion. And you can also use his second effect, which is you can target a normal monster. Special summon one of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on a monster within your extra deck from the graveyard in face down defense position. That's also why we're running the one Dark Cavalry, so that we can have another Dark Magician. Honestly, if you wanted to, you could take out the Magician of Dark Illusion. You could grab up another one of the Dark Magicians, and that would work as well, right? Because then you'd have 2 chances to grab up the Dark Magician into defense position using your Keeper. A little bit better. Then we also have Oracle Mahad, which this card is insane in the meta right now because there are so many cards that are dark. Now, why is this card good against dark? Well, it doubles its attack when it is facing, or when it battles a card that is dark. And you will see in one of the replays, this comes in handy very often. If you have more, I don't know if you should play more. 2 maybe max, but honestly, just running the 1 is probably enough. You will mill it. You do want it in the graveyard. Plus, if you draw it, you can summon it straight up, right? So if you draw it during your draw phase, you can special summon it, which is pretty useful. But most of the time, what we are going to be using him for is to summon you, or we will be summoning him with Chocolate Magician Girl from the graveyard. So you mill that guy, they swing into your Chocolate Magician Girl, you summon your Palladium Oracle Mahad, sorry, I said that incorrectly. You summon him up, and you also decrease their attack by half, right? So pretty good. Want him in the grave, more so than anything. Obviously, then we have the Kite Roid just to block an attack, kind of keep you alive a little bit longer. And, you know, just the standard magical girl kind of combo. If you don't know it, there are tons of videos out there, I'm sure, about how to do the magical girl combos, but most of it's just, you know, summoning and waiting for them to swing in and attack you, and then summoning other cards from the deck, hand, or grave to combat, right? Mostly like cutting in half some attacks or something like that, right? So there you go. Pretty simple combo. Let's hop into some replays to show you how this works. 1 second. Alright guys, welcome back. So here we are up against Dark Signer, Callan Kessler. So this, to me, I'm thinking like maybe 1 card wonder or something like that, right? Now, we're going to activate Restart because we didn't have the best of hands, and we didn't draw the best of hands once again. Grabbing Alistair the Invoker is okay, and normally, you know, we'd also have a Fire, which is also really good. Don't have Purgatrio, but if I did, that would be really good. So now we can't draw a card due to Restart. He's going to flip up his 1200 attack Clock Resonator, which I'm thinking, well, that's really interesting, and swing into our Alistair the Invoker. We grab up our Invocation, then we normal summon our Apple Magician Girl. Then he is going to activate, the Tracker, Psychic Tracker, in order to Synchro summon up to a level 6, which he grabs Archfiend's Call, and then he calls our bluff and says, you don't have anything in the hand to summon using your Apple Magician Girl, and he's right. And so he swings in, takes us out. We don't have anything else to play. He swings in another, time to take out our Invoker. Then we send ourselves the Dark Magician to the grave. Then we also send ourselves the Kiwi to the grave, because that is 5. Count them. Let's go, right? You got Apple, Alistair, Chocolate, Dark Magician, and Kiwi, all on the field or in the grave. Activate Magical Eyes Fusion. Banish them all. Summon up Quintet Magician. Wipe the field. He flips up a floodgate trap hole. Depressing. Meaning we can't do anything. This thing is just permanently in defense position. Not great. He grabs up his Alistair the Invoker. Alistair the Invoker then grabs up Invocation. Invocate for a Mage Lanica. He's going to set it into defensive position. Activates his Invocation to grab up his Alistair the Invoker once again. Now, we do have an Invocation within our hand, so if he decides to ever boost up or something like that, we can use his own Alistair to use our Invocation, which would allow us to grab up our Alistair, which is banished. So keep that in mind. We're going to set ourselves a Cosmic Cyclone. He's going to set a card. We're going to Cosmic Cyclone that immediately. Then we grab up our Grass Looks Greener. Grab up everything. Then we are going to Fusion Summon using 5 cards. Now, we do have to use Double Berry Magician Girl because we don't quite have enough. But we flip it up. We want to get our Quintet Magician on the field face up. So we do that. We fuse off the other Quintet Magician that was permanently face down, and we swing into the Mage Lanica. Then we draw into Oracle Palladium Mahad. Swing in, boost up by 5,000 because we are facing off against a Dark type. Destroy his Invoker. Then he flips us down using his Paleozoic Canadia and summons up his other Canadia. This is a pretty annoying deck. Here we go. He summons up Bryonic Dragon of... what is this called? Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Then he summons up his Cocytus as well. Activates Invocation. Real depressing. Then he's going to activate Bryonic to discard his Invoker. That's really good for us. We have a Kiteroid in the hand, so we negate the effect. We don't die. We activate Invocation, banishing his Alistair the Invoker, and he doesn't have an Invocation within his grave. Then we grab up our Invocation once again to grab up Alistair the Invoker, and then we just swing into the Bryonic, take it out. We don't want him returning things back to the hand. Grab up Alistair the Invoker to grab up Invocation. Invocate for our own Cocytus, because that's all that we have. We don't have many, we don't have a second Mage Lanica, because we can't have it. Then we grab up our Alistair once again, swing in, and he disconnected at this time. And here's the thing. He basically surrendered that because I saw he wasn't having any connection issues that entire duel, and then as soon as I swung in that first Mage Lanica, he was just like, nah, I'm out. Even though he had a Sangin, he was like, no, I'm done. So there you go. That's how the deck works. You use both Alistair and your Magician Girls. It is pretty difficult to deal with Floodgates and Canadias and anything like that. But overall, it's still really good. Let's hop into the next one. Alright guys, welcome back. So here we are up against Yami Merrick, which most of the time that means that you're playing up against Shadow Game, right? Shadow Game, what it does is every turn, at the end of the turn, you take damage for all the cards within your graveyard. You take 100 times the number of cards in your graveyard, right? It applies to him as well, but that's really bad for us because we have 30 cards in our deck and we are mainly focused on trying to get cards into our graveyard. Now, we did have to activate our restart because our first hand didn't really look that good, right? So we restart, we activate our Chocolate Magician Girl to send the apple to the grave. Then we activate Cosmic Cyclone, take out his back row card. We can't draw anything. We draw into a Magical Eyes Fusion, though, thanks to Chocolate Magician Girl. We swing in to see what it is. It's a Fortress Warrior. We take out his back row once again, taking out a powerful Rebirth. He activates Warm Worm. Well, guess what? That's actually helping us because it gets a Lemon Magician Girl in the grave. Now, count. Right now, we have 3 cards in the graveyard, 1 within our, within our field. On our field, right? We also have a Kiteroid in our graveyard as well. Not that important. We do have 2 Magical Eyes Fusions within our hand, not exactly great. However, if we do not win this turn, we will lose because of this guy's effect. Boganian. He inflicts 600 damage to the opponent during the opponent's standby phase, and because of Shadow Game, we will take 700, now 800, now less. He activates Paleozoic Canadia, trying to flip us face down to prevent us from Magicalized Fusion. Here's a little tip: that doesn't work. It does, however, it can flip the fusion face down before it is destroyed, and it is chainable. It's something that you can chain it to without having to have your toggle on. So keep that in mind, guys. If you're playing up against Quintet Magician and you have a Floodgate, wait for the Quintet Magician to come out, then Floodgate it using Paleozoic Floodgate, whatever it may be. Then you can flip it face down. Your card will still get destroyed, and like all of your cards will get destroyed if they do it right, but at least you won't have them be able to swing in for lethal that turn. So keep that in mind. Quintet Magician activates, destroys everything on the field, swings in for lethal. We had to win that turn, and we did. Right? We got extremely lucky drawing into our Kiwi Magician Girl. However, had we drawn into any of our myriad of spellcasters that we have, or Grass That's Greener, we would have had the same deal. We still would have won, right? So, there you go. That's how it works. Super dope. Love this deck. Super fun. Let's hop into the next one. Alright, guys. Here we are up against Ishizu Ishtar, which means Sealed Tombs. Or there can only be one, right? Both of them pretty bad for us, but here we go. We do open up with a pretty good hand with that Grass Looks Greener and a Berry Magician Girl, as well as a Magicalized Fusion within our hand and a Cosmic Cyclone. So we start out pretty good. Now, Berry Magician Girl, summon it, grab up ourselves the Kiwi Magician Girl. Why do we grab up Kiwi? Because it can be discarded to boost up, and it boosts by things within the graveyard as well. And we obviously are going to have things within the graveyard, right? The other Magician Girls in the graveyard is what it uses to boost, as well as those on the field, right? So, we got 1, 2, 3 others, including this and this. Pretty good boost. So there you go. He's going to activate Keeper of Dragon Magic. Neos Fusion. Okay, we're playing up against a Neos Fusion deck. Pretty interesting. He looks like he's got a pretty good hand. He did have his Elemental Hero Neos within his hand, as well as his Keeper of Dragon Magic. He seals the tomb. Guess what? Doesn't really matter too much. We can still summon our Chocolate Magician Girl from the grave, or from the deck, because it's not from the grave. Then he swings in. We boost up using our Kiwi Magician Girl so that he cannot destroy our Berry Magician Girl using his Keeper of Dragon Magic. Then we take out the back row, because I'm more scared of that than I was of the Neos Fusion protecting them. So I instead decided to take out this back row. Yeah, it's going to be able to protect them, but how is he going to be able to get over a Quintet Magician? That's kind of what I was thinking. And now here, I'm like, okay, honestly, this is pretty good for us, right? We just, summon something from the deck, and then we're pretty good because, he's not going to be able to get through 3 monsters using this deck, and then we can just Magicalized Fusion. He did seal the tomb on us, so we couldn't actually do it that turn, but we could do it next turn, so I'm pretty happy. We may have to deal with 2 annoying Elemental Hero Brave Neoses, but it'll be fine, right? He activates Neos Fusion again, summons up another Elemental Hero Brave Neos. Then he destroys our face down first, like a fool, and swings in to our Chocolate Magician Girl that we summoned after he swung into our Berry Magician Girl. Swings in with Keeper of Dragon Magic. Now keep in mind, this guy is dark. And what did we send to the grave? I think you can see it there. I'm pretty sure you can see it there. This guy! Palladium Oracle Mahad, right? So, we summon up Palladium Oracle Mahad. We boost to 5,000. And he is now cut in half. His attack is only 900. He swings in and kills himself on us with 4,100 damage. We didn't even attack that game. Didn't send out a single attack and we won. There you go. Oracle Palladium Mahad, along with Chocolate Magician Girl, insane combo. Berry Magician Girl just facilitates it even more. You really only need 2 Chocolate Magician Girls. You only really need 2 Berry Magician Girls. You really only need 2 of any of them, except for Kiwi. Kiwi I like having 3 of. But overall, let's talk about the deck once more. 1 second. Alright, so let's talk about this deck once again. Just a quick overview. Overall, you could probably take out the Dark Magicians, put in your other 2 Alistair the Invokers, right? You could also take out, if you wanted to, a Lemon Magician Girl for another Berry Magician Girl. I do find Berry to be a little bit more useful than Lemon, but that's up to you. I don't know. It kind of depends on how you're feeling and if you think that like it'd be more useful to have a wider variety or more useful to have overall more useful cards when played, right? Do you want a wider variety in the grave? Do you want, you know, better cards that are on the field, right? Now, with that being said, obviously, if you have a Purgatrio, definitely use Purgatrio. It's not focused around summoning the invoked cards, right? But it still is pretty good using them, right? I mean, Element Sabers using mainly the invoked cards as their boss monsters are what makes them so strong, right? So we're just doing it with our Dark Magician Girls, or just our Magician Girls, and grass that looks greener. That grass looks greener. There we go. Obviously, Palladium Oracle Mahad. I say don't use like 3 of them. I don't think he's that useful. You just need the 1 in the grave. And honestly, you're not really focusing around playing around him, right? Because, yeah, there are a lot of dark type monsters on the ladder, right? Alistair the Invoker, Dark Magician, Dark Lords, right? Keeper of Dragon Magic. There are a lot of dark types, right? All throughout, or dark attribute cards, all throughout the ladder. But he's just a better, like, tech card, almost. So if you don't have him, don't worry, that's fine. But if you do have him, use him. With that being said, Quintet Magician is definitely a must. Popping all the cards, super good. Have him at 3 if you can. There was a duel that I almost won had I had all 3 of my Magicalized Fusions, and I had 3 Quintet Magicians within the deck, because they got rid of 2 of them. We're able to handle 2 of them, and then I was just kind of stuck there with nothing really to play, and I was just like, ah, crap. So, keep that in mind as well. But yeah, you could probably take out the Dark Magicians, which would also allow you to take out Dark Cavalry and stuff like that. Also, you could take out an Invoked Mage Lanica to put in another Kiteroid if you so feel it. So it's all up to you. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy this episode and that this deck was rather informative for you. If you did enjoy, a like is very much so appreciated. And if you want to see more content like this, just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.